friends, and welcome back to A Knitter's Life podcast. I am so pleased with myself that I am joining you it's been just a week. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. If you're new to the podcast, I usually take at least 3 weeks to return and do another episode just because life is so busy. But I think I figured out a way to return every week. But let's keep our fingers crossed about that, okay? Maybe I shouldn't have said it because maybe I'll give a little knock on wood. Oh my. My voice is still a little bit flaky, so I have a big cup of steaming tea. I am still getting over my cold, although I do feel a bit better. I feel like I'm beating it. We'll see. Thank you all. You all have given such kind little notes to me, and I'm sure I'm just fine. I think it's just the weather has been a bit odd here, and we've gone from warm to cold quite a bit, and oftentimes I get sick when we just fluctuate from warm to cold. So it's kind of better if it just stays warm or it just stays cold. But anyways, so if I take sips of tea, forgive me, and if I have to end early because my voice gives out, please forgive me. I did try to podcast last night and my voice gave out, so I just thought, okay, forget it, we'll start all over again. But I wanted to return so quickly because we have finished the Fall in Love knit along that Regina of Her Blats Regina podcast and I have been hosting, and it's been going on since August. And in some ways, in August I thought, oh, November is such a long way away, it will never come. But it is, it's here, it's arrived, it's now, and we are just, we're just at the doorstep of the holidays, which is so exciting. And also so intimidating, but I'll get to that later. So I have closed the thread for the Fall in Love knit along, and I have done my little random number generator, and I have the prize winners here, which I'm so excited about. If you're new to the podcast, hop over to the Ravelry thread in the A Knitter's Life podcast group and just look at all the beautiful projects. If you are not knowing what to cast on next, it's such a great place to start because you will see some amazing yarns, some amazing projects. People just have been knitting up a storm, which has been so much fun to see. So it's like a catalog of all the good knits to knit. It's wonderful. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different prizes to give away here in this group, and I know Her Blats Regina has some to give away in her group. So if you've entered both threads, you have doubled your chances of winning, which is so exciting. But okay, sip of tea, and then let's get to the winners. The first winner was number 23, which was Amelia. I can't believe it. I was so excited. So Amelia, you have won the project bag that I made. And if you remember, this project bag was made from inspiration from the Susan Branch Autumn book, where she talks about decorating with old quilts and using old quilts as tablecloths and just making everything cozy. So this is a piece of old quilt that was made into a project bag. So, and I decorated it with a doily and a button. So it was kind of the beginning of the start of my little fairy bags that I've been making out of old things. So Amelia, that will be winging its way to you, which I was so excited to send you. The second winner was number 64, Red Salt Box, and you have won a set of my mother's beautiful watercolor cards. She has a wonderful Etsy shop. It's called Watercolor Tales, and it is on Etsy, and she sells her beautiful prints and beautiful cards, and she changes them up for the seasons. right now she has her winter and holiday cards in her shop. So you can find those there. And they're such beautiful things to send to friends, especially knitting friends. I mean, who doesn't love a sheepy card, right? You can see she has given me sheep over the years, which I have in turn framed because I just love sheep. I think they're such amazing animals, of course, right? Because I'm in love with their wool. But so Red Salt Box, you have won a set of my mom's beautiful watercolor cards that are perfect for winter or for the holidays. So that will be winging its way to you. And then number 59 was the third winner, Down Home Pearl. You have won 2 bottles of Eucalyptus. Yay! This is from Eucalyptus. They kindly sent us some prizes. Rapture. And then this is the natural unscented. So just in time for all the washing of wool that we will be doing. Sweaters and all sorts of things. Mittens. My mittens get dirty in our house. I have boys, so of course they would, right? And then the fourth winner was Linda from Ben Salem. I'm going to spell your Ravelry name just because I'm not too sure how you pronounce it, but it's L-M-E-C-O-L-L. You have won the vintage apron. This is so fun because it's just in time for all the holiday baking, and I hope you bake or cook or whatever, but this is a vintage apron that is part of my vintage apron collection. I've been wearing my vintage aprons. Have I told you guys that? If you follow me on Instagram, which is A Knitter's Life on Instagram, you have seen that I have been wearing, I have this new love of aprons. One of the things in my household that's very frustrating about cleanup time is that I'll find little bits of this toy upstairs and little bits of that toy downstairs. We have a basement, a first floor, and a third floor in our house. And so sometimes to get parts in the right places, you're going up or down 2 flights of stairs, which if you have that kind of house, you can imagine it gets tiring. Well, I found the magic of aprons. So now whenever I clean or go to straighten up things, I put on an apron and all those little parts and pieces go in my apron pockets. And then when I get to the right place, I just unload. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm like, why didn't I think of this before? I always thought aprons are just for baking, they're for cooking. And I do use them for baking and cooking, but I have found a new love for cleaning in an apron. Oh my goodness, it's just the bee's knees. So anyways, Linda, I hope that if you use this apron for cleaning or for cooking, you enjoy it. And then number 17, Emma Clark, you have won this beautiful pattern that was donated to both Herblats, Regina, and I. It's the Orantia mitts. They are beautiful fingerless gloves that have a lace pattern or a lace motif on it. And this was given to us by Julia. She is Plouse Knits, P-E-L-O-U-S-E knits. And she has just started designing and releasing her patterns. So it's so exciting to be part of her knitting journey and her designing journey. But you can find those mitts on Ravelry. I think they would make really, really lovely gifts for the Christmas season, don't you think? And it looks like they would be fairly quick to do too. So they'd just be so elegant for a friend. So Emma Clark, you have won that pattern. And then the last one is Sheps 3, S-H-E-P-Z 3 on Ravelry. You have won a skein of my hand-dyed sock yarn. This is some hand-dyed sock yarn that I have done. So I've called it candy cane. But anyway, so that will be winging its way to you. So that is the conclusion. Sorry, my voice, I tell ya. I don't think I've damaged it. Someone asked me if I've damaged it. I don't think so. I think it's just been, my cold has been about 4 weeks long, and I also suffer from asthma, and I think this, just the combination has been a little hard on my voice and my throat. So another sip of tea. I am drinking this lovely English tea shop, organic white tea, blueberry and elderflower. It's quite delicious. But anyways, that's the conclusion of that knit along. And in some ways, I'm sad to see it go because it's been so much fun. But on the other hand, it kind of marks the beginning of the holidays, doesn't it? I mean, for us in North America, we are celebrating, or in America, we are celebrating Thanksgiving next week. And for me, Thanksgiving marks the beginning of the holidays. Like, you just really can't begin the holidays in earnest until we've had Thanksgiving. It's I don't know, it's like the beginning, and then New Year's Eve is kind of the end. So I'm so excited because next week is Thanksgiving. But with that in mind, we do still have one more knit along going on in our group, and that's the Sabrina cowl, or the Sabrina cowl and beret that Bryony Knits and I have been hosting. It's the knit along, and that has been going on. So I just think it's so brilliant because this pattern was designed around friendship. So we asked all of you who are knitting to take pictures of yourself with your knitting group or a knitting friend or a cup of coffee, because that's another way that Brownie Knits and I really, really like to knit, is with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So you guys have done that and then shared with us those photos to enter the giveaway, and oh my goodness, it's so adorable. I want to just enter each of those pictures and chat with your knitting group or chat with your friend. It's just so cute. So keep going. I am still working on my Sabrina cowl, and I'm double dipping. This is not only for the knit along, but this is also for a Christmas present, which I'm very excited about. Why not, right? Why not? So this is one of my works in progress, and it is my Sabrina cowl, and it is knit out of Malabrigo worsted, and it is the Plomo colorway. Let me see if I can, here we go. Malabrigo is so nice and lofty and soft. It's just, this color too is just like the perfect mix of gray and purple. So, and I love the stitch definition that it gives off. So this is going to be a Christmas present for whom I won't say. I don't think they watch the podcast, but you never know, right? You have to keep things top secret. Top secret. So I am really enjoying that. I need to take a picture. I can't enter the giveaway, but it would be fun to take a picture with a knitting friend. Gina, I should have taken a picture with you last time we were together, but anyways, so keep going, guys. We have until November 30th for that knit along, and it's so fun to see your knitting groups and your projects, so keep going. And that will be a fun one to announce the winners. Well, what have I finished? Do you notice something that I have finished? I have finished my Star Shower cowl. This was knit in Yarn Geek Fibers Super Geek Sack Yarn, which is a Blue Place Leicester blend, which just soaks up the color. Look at this color. And this is the Caroline Herschel colorway. And it's just gorgeous. I think that Sarah of Yarn Geek Fibers have just done a wonderful, wonderful job with it. I didn't use the whole skein, so I still have some leftovers for perhaps some squares in my sack yarn blanket. So that will be fun to put in because it will be some bright pops of color. But I really enjoyed the pattern. I enjoyed it so much that I have caked up that beautiful skein of sea slug that I showed you in the last episode, and I'm starting a second star shower. Can you believe that? I am. It's just such a fun knit. It's one of those knits that's not too mindless. It's interesting, but it is fun to do. So those are always a joy. The other thing that I finished was this cute, of course, right? Have you guys seen a dozen of these or a zillion of these? This is the bauble hat, B-A-A dash or hyphen B-L-E. And this was part of the Shetland Wool Week release. This was a free pattern, and it's just so cute. It's so cute because the sheep they look kind of real in the sense of they're not all the same shape, which I think is just wonderful. And it looks like it's snowing, and I just adore it. It's just so much fun. Brownie Knits, Gina of Brownie Knits, and I and our mutual friend Carol all got together last Tuesday for a lunch here at my house, and it was so much fun. It was such a rare opportunity for the three of us to get together and be together. So we decided that we needed to mark it with something momentous, and what more momentous is there to mark it with than casting on the same project all together. So we looked in our stash, and I had this green with some Barocco Ultra Alpaca that I had, and the white I think was some Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted, and so was the black, and then the blue was some Cascade 220 that Brownie Knits Gina gave me from her stash, which was so kind of her, and we cast on. Now, of course, Arthur was with me and that day here at the house, and so I cast on, but I was so distracted because he just was talking to me that I started my ribbing in knit 1 purl 1 instead of the 2x2 ribbing that it calls for. And at first I was like, I'm just going to continue, but I saw Gina and Carol and their ribs, and I thought, oh no, I want a 2x2 rib too. So I ripped it back and I cast on my 2x2 rib. I used size 6 and size 7 needles, US, and I think the hat came out probably a little bigger than what is specified. It's fine, it's perfect for me because I have a lot of hair, and this hat was intended for me. I am going to cast on another one because I think this would make such a fun gift for another friend of mine and also another family member. So I will be going down a size. I think I'm going to do a size 5 and a size 6 needle. So a size 5 for the ribbing and then a size 6 for the body of the hat. Just kind of a loose knitter, but anyways, we all are different. If you haven't tried this, it is such a fun knit. You might think it's hard because it looks like stranded knitting, but it really went so fast. I cast it on and I didn't really get to work on it until the evening. And by the evening, I think I had up to the decreases done, and the second evening I had the decreases done. So it took me 2 evenings. It was so fast and so much fun. And of course I put a pom-pom on it because, I don't know, hats with pom-poms are so adorable. So I'm looking forward to wearing this. It's going to be fun. So it's great. It's also great because you often do have little bits and bobs in your stash yarn that you can use up. I still have enough blue to make a second hat, and I have enough green, and I have some white that I can use that for the sheep. Not the same white, I ran out of that, but I have some. So that was another fun thing that I finished. That's all that I finished in the last week, though. I've knit, but I haven't finished any other things. But I did find some yarn. Remember last episode, I talked about wanting to cast on some Thanksgiving socks on Thanksgiving Day. Because sometimes, you're sitting around in the afternoon and after dinner and you're all talking, and it's nice to have something special to do with your hands. So I had made these Thanksgiving project bags, or fall project bags, and I had put a few in my Etsy shop, and I kept one for myself. Naughty me. And then I found the perfect yarn, I think the perfect yarn, to be for my socks that I'm going to make for Thanksgiving, or cast on for Thanksgiving. It's the Regia Perfect. So it makes a perfect identical pair of socks. Isn't that fun? So you're supposed to pull the yarn out and then cut off all the yellow yarn and then start your socks. And then you either knit until you do your socks, and then you knit either until the next yellow, or probably my socks won't be that. If you're going to do bottom up, it would be perfect. So you would cast on from the toe, and then you could knit until you hit the next yellow string, and then you cut off the yellow string, and then you start your next pair of socks. I like to do mine top down, so mine probably won't be as long. Although I don't know, now that I'm saying that, I'm thinking, toil up might be fun for this kind. I don't know. We'll have to see how I do it. But I'm so excited because they have perfectly proportioned the stripes and the plain yarn in this to be two perfect pair of socks. I'm not really fussy about my socks, but I just thought it'd be fun to try. I had never seen that, so it's called Perfect by Regia. So that is going to go in my little Thanksgiving bag, and I will be casting that on. I'm looking forward to it next week. Another thing that I did get this week, remember last week I talked to you about this beautiful roving that I had spun up. It was a bat from Roving Acres Farm, and it has a bit of alpaca, it has some sari silk, and I was debating about whether or not to ply it with something I had or to buy some more bats. So I did go ahead and I bought 2 more bats from their Etsy shop. They have such a lovely Etsy shop, and these came so quickly. They're so responsive and kind. They're such a great little farm to purchase from, and they do have some more lovely bats in their shop. I didn't realize that people can do bad jobs with bats. I had encouraged Brownie Knits to try a bat because she was a new spinner. So she bought a bat at a fiber festival that we went to, not from Roving Acres, but from a different vendor. And it was so dusty, and it was actually quite difficult to spin with, and I felt so bad that I had suggested it to her. But Roving Acres bats are so light and so fluffy, and they are clean. They're not dusty or dirty. So they come very highly recommended to me, from me to you. And it's always good to know, isn't it? It's good to know what other people have tried, because you don't want to get a bad bat. But these are excellent. Oh my goodness, they're so light and fluffy and so easy to tear apart and spin from, and they're so clean. It's wonderful. And I have really sensitive allergies, so I'm very sensitive to clean bats, but these are very, very clean and very lovely. And they're very reasonably priced. The bats are $5 a piece, which is just quite amazing. So I am looking forward to spinning these wonderful bats up and then plying them. So hopefully, maybe next time we visit, I'll have that plied and I'll show that to you. I kind of want to knit them up. Wouldn't they be lovely mittens? I just think they'd be, I don't know. lovely mittens with just a bit of color in them. So that came this week. The funny thing that came in the box, look at this. Roving Acres sent this funny little frog in the box. Isn't it cute? And it says, "Ribbit, ribbit." So I think that this little frog is going to find its way into John's lunchbox tomorrow, and we'll see what he thinks. John loves to write me little notes, and he leaves them for me to find. And then I write him little notes and leave them for him to find. So I thought it would be fun if we leave a little frog as well. So that's some spinning I'm looking forward to getting into. Well, okay, another sip of tea. Ah, get that voice working again. The holidays are around the corner, and it is so exciting. I was watching the lovely Danny of Little Bobbins, and this was about 2 episodes, probably 3 episodes back. She had talked about her purchasing the Opal Advent Calendar. And this was an Advent calendar of mini skeins of opal sock yarn. And I just thought, oh my goodness, can you imagine? That would be so much fun. But the opal sock yarn Advent calendars are rare. And so if you have purchased one and been able to get one, you are a lucky person. But 1, I knew I couldn't get a hold of one, and 2, I knew I just didn't have the money to spend on it, which is fine. That's fine. There's different seasons of life. But I was so inspired by it because we love Advent calendars in our family. This, believe it or not, is an Advent calendar. If I show you really closely, maybe you can see some of the windows. Maybe not. It's probably really hard to see. There's 21, no, 12, and then 16 right here on the floor. Let's see, there's 22. That one's probably easy to see. Over here on the hutch, there's one. But these, we always did Advent calendars growing up. It was just a tradition in our family. And then my mom started making them for us. So this is a watercolor that my mom did. And she would cut out the little holes, and then behind them she would place little pictures, usually taken from Christmas cards from the previous year that she would save, or cards. And my mom is such a creative soul, and also such a frugal soul. We didn't have a lot growing up, but we never felt like we were missing anything because my mom was so good at creating something out of nothing. And she was so good at creating these beautiful Advent calendars for us to do. So this is one, and it says, it got too loved and too worn for me to use, so we framed it. And I hang it up every Christmas just to savor the memories. But it says, "To Christina, Merry Christmas. Painted in Africa in '91. Love, Mom." This was an Advent calendar that she painted for me when we lived in Africa. We lived in Uganda, Africa, East Africa, from 1989 to 1992. And so this is a scene that she painted while we were living there. And I just love it because you can see that we were, even though we loved Africa and I loved just all the wonderful things that Africa had to offer, we did miss the comforts of home and Christmas at Christmas time, and kind of the traditions that we had. And so Mom painted a traditional scene. I was born in Vermont, so we, all of our roots are on the East Coast. And so to me, I see a lot of East Coast reflections here. The fire, the fireplace, the stockings, the clock, even the chair. That's the chair that we have that was put into storage while we were in Africa. The hutch. It's so fun now for me to see this now because I have a white hutch. I had a hutch and I painted it white. I have that chair that was my parents', and I have a fireplace now in my home, and I have a rug in it, and we have often put our Christmas tree right next to our fireplace, just like this, and hung our stockings. And of course my stockings are hand knit. What I loved when I got out this picture tonight, I loved seeing this stocking cap right here. It's a striped stocking cap. Wouldn't it be fun to come up with a pattern that kind of mimicked that? But anyways, I wanted to show you this because just to show you that Advent calendars was a strong tradition in my family. Making our own Advent calendars was a strong tradition. So when I saw the opal Advent calendar and thought, oh, it would be so much fun to have an Advent calendar that had sock yarn in it, just the wheels in my mind began turning. Then I had Gina, Brownie Knits, over for lunch and for tea, and we were talking away and chatting away and knitting away, and I was telling her about Danny's podcast and how she had purchased this opal Advent calendar and how exciting it was and how fun it would be to do that. And we just started chatting back and forth. Oh, wouldn't it be fun? Oh, we could make one. Oh, let's put it together. Oh, okay, you do the even days, I'll do the odd days. And then when we each got back to our own houses, we thought, oh, well, how are we going to hang it up? And so we started a Pinterest board with all these different ideas on how to hang up our Advent calendar. And we got so excited. I mean, it kept us like on a high for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We were so excited about this. So this is what we've come up with. One of the things that we loved about Pinterest is it has different ideas on how to hang different kinds of Advent calendars. So these little packets of things, they each have numbers. You could hang them from a hanger. They had wooden hangers. They had trees that you could make, or they just had a simple hoop. So Gina had these hoops, and she found these beautiful bows already made up, which was so kind of her. So we decided to put it together for each other and also our mutual friend Carol. So she did the odd number days and I did the even, and we did 3 sets of them. And what we did is we put in each packet a little mini skein of yarn. Okay, back up. We thought, well, do we want to make a sock? Do we want to make a cowl? Do we want to make a scarf? Do we want to make a hat? So we decided that we wanted to make a cowl. And we thought, well, 400 yards of fingering weight usually makes a pretty wearable sized cowl. So then we divided that by 25 days and we figured out how many yards that we needed to knit to achieve that. So it was about 16 to 20 yards a day that we needed to do in order to achieve that 400 yards or 400 plus yards. So we thought, oh, that's totally doable. And it is. It's about 4.5 grams of yarn per day. Some of my balls are 6 just because it was so much fun. So we have a little skein of a little ball of yarn, and we have a little treat and a little note in each one, or it varies. Sometimes there's a note, sometimes there's a treat. And we did them for each other. So honestly, I did all of mine, but I know the general idea of what I did, but I can't remember which day I did it on, which is so exciting. So now we have these Advent calendars to open, starting December 1st and ending December 25th. And at the end of it, we're each going to have a cowl. We did the same color yarn for all 3 of us, and we just used our odds and ends of sock yarn. So it's going to come out kind of like the Magic Cake Shawlette that Paula Knitting Pipeline put together one year. And if you haven't seen that, go look it up because it's beautiful. Some of the combinations that people have come up with are just amazing. This is a totally blind combination. It could look wonderful, it could look dorky, or it could look awful. I think it's going to look wonderful because honestly, what colors don't go together, right? But the fun of it is I'm going to open each one and then I'll show you guys on Instagram each day. I'll Instagram each day. Brownie Knits over on her podcast talked about this too. And it is true. We decided, she said, okay, what time of day can we Instagram it so we don't spoil it for each other? And so I think we decided about 10 o'clock in the morning, which is fun. So hopefully every day beginning December 1st, we will Instagram our advent calendars. And there's still enough time. If you have a knitting friend that is close to you, or even if you just want to put one together for yourself, do it. It is so much fun. I always do an advent calendar for the boys, and this is going to be fun to kind of join in the excitement with them and open a little packet every day for myself. I think this is going to have to become a tradition because it's been so much fun to put together and to look forward to. Now, I cannot wait for December 1st, which is pathetic. I feel like a child, but I'm also so excited. So anyways, it's definitely going to be hanging downstairs with me in the kitchen and playroom because that's where I am most of the day. And because I love looking at it. I love looking at it. Even just, can you tell? The thought of it just makes me happy. So I love that we were creative. We were inspired by something, but we made it our own, and we used what we have, which was so fun. So anyways, I can't wait to share that with you guys. In other knitting news, I am almost done. I am on the bind off row of my Fall in Leaves shawl, and I was doing this again for the Fall in Love knit along that Regina and I were hosting, and I am a little behind. I should have finished at the end of the knit along, but I am on to the November chart and I'm on the bind off, so I should finish tonight. I have really enjoyed this yarn. This yarn was new to me. This was the Marmalade of Ponies lace and the Parthia colorway by Alicia Goes Around. And it's 100% fine superwash wool. So it's super soft. It's really, really soft. And I'm going to have quite a bit left over. I think there was like 1,200 yards in this. So I think I'm going to have to cast on a fun shawl for myself after this, because it's just, doesn't it look like evergreens? I want to make a big, beautiful shawl for myself and then have a red flower right there. Would that be so Christmassy? So hopefully next time we visit, I will have that cast on. That will be fun. The other thing that I finished, I haven't made any progress on my Hap shawl. Hopefully next week I will. But the other thing that I did finish were some fairy bags, some Christmas fairy bags. So these are my bags that I make out of old beautiful things. So I have 2 of these. These are old doilies, and this was a vintage table runner that I found that I turned into bags. And I have 2 for the shop, and then I have 1 for myself. Because guess what's going in this? The advent calendar cowl. So I'm gonna use this one for myself, and it's going to host the advent calendar. So I've got that all ready to go. I'm so excited. And then these, aren't these so cute? Look at those little Santas. They're so cheery and chubby and so cute. So these are two tall bags. This was a vintage linen that I found that was just too cute. I actually toyed about not cutting this up, but because it was just so cute. But in the end, I thought they just make such cheerful project bags. So there's 2 of these cute little Santas, and they will be in the Etsy shop for any of you who want some cute vintagey bags. So that is all. My voice is feeling like it's going again. I'm so sorry. Hopefully next week it will be better. So I'm going to sign off, and I hope I'll be back next week, but it is Thanksgiving week, so there might be quite a few things to do. If I'm not back next week, happy Thanksgiving. I hope those of you who are celebrating have a wonderful time, even if it is just with yourself or if you're here with family. Whatever life throws your way, I hope you have a wonderful time. And to all of those who don't celebrate, well, I'm sure you're getting ready for the holidays, for Christmas and for all those celebrations coming up. So in the meantime, happy knitting.